the Securities and Exchange Commission brought a case against the developer of orange groves who wound up selling interests in the orange grove combined with a land management contract. And this is a very important distinction. What you would have is tourists come down to Florida in the 1930s and 1940s. They would stay at this fancy hotel, and right next to the hotel, there would be signs and brochures saying, you love it here in Florida in the summer, why don't you buy a piece of our orange grove here? And the important point is that what the tourists were buying wasn't the orange. It wasn't even the tree. It was the combination of the citrus, the rights to the profits of the citrus, with the management contract. It was the package that the Supreme Court decided satisfied the definition of an investment contract. And because that investment contract was not registered with the SEC, and because the sellers couldn't demonstrate that they qualified for an exemption, the Supreme Court agreed with the Securities Exchange Commission, and it said that the combination of the sale of the orange grove with the management contract was a security. The Supreme Court at no point held, and this is really important, that an orange was a security. It was the package that was the security.
Listening to that clip, I want us to draw attention to the specific line where he says that the Supreme Court at no point held that an orange was a security. It was the package that was the security. With that in mind, that just shows us that the SEC called XRP itself a security in the Ripple case because it was a weapon to hold them back. The SEC really apparently doesn't care about the retail investors as it claims. All that matters is stalling Ripple's innovation, whilst the banks make their own plans. But before we proceed any further, let's roll that beautiful intro. As always, welcome back to Money Side, your favorite crypto news channel. If you're new here, welcome to the XRP Army. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our daily crypto news updates. In more interesting news today, the SEC has finally released the Hinman documents. After over 18 months of back and forth and 6 court orders, the battle is finally over. Ripple General Counsel issued a statement saying, "We're more than pleased to have finally received the documents from the SEC. After 6 court orders, it was worth the fight to get these important documents that the SEC has withheld for over 18 months. At the SEC's insistence, the documents are still confidential. Having seen the documents, I can confirm that while we always felt good about our case, we feel even better now." This lawsuit has caused Ripple a lot of frustration. I mean, just listen to Brad Garlinghouse talk about how things have been with this lawsuit.
I would characterize the SEC has built a reputation, I think, deserved as being a bully. Many players that the SEC has gone after, they simply have to fold their cards. I mean, Ripple will spend well over $100 million defending ourselves in a case that we have tried to move forward as quickly as we can, and the SEC has gone as slowly as they can. Another example I think is pretty profound. There's a kind of infamous speech that Bill Hinman, the director of corporate finance in the SEC, gave in June of 2018 saying, "ETH is not a security." And the judge 5 times in the last 18 months, the judge in our case, she has ordered the SEC to turn over the notes in that case 5 times. We still don't have those notes. And I look at that as like the SEC, it is a government agency. The government works for the people. The judge is ordering the SEC to turn these notes over and they won't do it. And they keep coming up with new reasons why. So much so that the judge in her most recent ruling said the SEC is being hypocritical. And I will quote, saying, "not following a faithful allegiance to the law." These are damning words for an agency whose mission is stated as to protect investors. In the case of the the Ripple lawsuit, they destroyed $15 billion of value in the XRP market when they filed the lawsuit. That was not protecting investors.
That aside, we have a series of tweets from Jeremy Hogan talking about what's currently going on in the Ripple versus SEC case. He shared that the parties have filed with the court under seal reply briefs to each other's motions for summary judgment. We can't see these yet, of course. They also filed numerous exhibits, etc., which we also can't see. In the Ripple vs. SEC update, Jeremy Hogan further shares that the parties are speaking today about what parts of their briefs they want redacted. The summary judgment briefs from last month really talked past each other. So these are the briefs where we'll really see how strong each position is. For instance, what response will the SEC have? The briefs are scheduled to be made public next Monday, but last month the SEC ignored that deadline and filed it a day early. Jeremy Hogan, in his tweets, urges us to be on the lookout anytime Sunday or Monday for those to drop. After that, there's just one more brief on November 15th, and we are then basically done. So guys, load up your bags while you still have time. This may be a November to remember.
Institutions, Joey and I sat in a meeting not that long ago with, some of the largest institutional money in the world trying to get smart about crypto. They owned zero on that day. I don't know if they do today. But as they enter the market, you have fixed supply, increasing demand. You don't have to go to MIT to know what's going to happen.
As we wind down on today's video, we've got an interesting video coming your way next. XRP really isn't for retail. We've always said that. There's a bigger picture to it. This is an asset that has utility, and that's why it comes in handy for banks and financial institutions for its operational benefits.
Our first sort of question. One last question I'll ask the three of you is, at the moment, certainly institutional investors are, any holdings of crypto assets are quite small in terms of their portfolio. Us as an advisor, we've been sort of asking ourselves the question. We don't have the answer, but we've been asking ourselves the question is, should investors start to think about holding a small percentage of their portfolio in crypto assets? I'd love to hear each of your views whilst we're waiting for some questions. Perhaps I'll start with Anna.
So, thank you.
It's a tough one. I saved the hardest one for the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you so much. So I'll tell you something that I heard from somebody, which is if you want to invest in crypto assets in the current market environment, make sure that you invest only that portion of the portfolio that you are willing to lose completely.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that the situation is as bad as this sentence conveys, but it's a very volatile investment.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would ever suggest anybody to make that investment as part of their core portfolio. But definitely, if you are an investor who is not risk adverse and you can afford to take a risk in a volatile asset class, why not?
So only for the brave. Okay.
Yes.
Susan.
I'm going to punt a little bit on grounds that Ripple utilizes a crypto asset for its product, but we are not retail facing. We only deal with financial institutions and are not involved in this specific area at all. So I will defer to the experts on that.
I'm just going to say that I'm a lawyer, and if you come to me for investment advice, I feel really sorry for you.
Okay.
You're going to get what you pay for if you come to me.
So there's no investors here.
As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. You can always let us know what you think in the comment section below, and let's have a conversation. Thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and please click on that subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next Money Side.